Hey, everybody. Good evening. It's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You. Thank you for joining me on the Crazy for You podcast. I am super excited tonight to have you join me because I am welcoming the ever so fabulous Trish Malcolm from Rowan Group. She's their executive brand strategist, and she's going to be talking about the runway shows that she saw and the spring fashion trends and all of those kinds of things. Some of you maybe got my newsletter today. I talked about, what do you think of when you think of like a runway show? I don't know about you, but I kind of imagine all those crazy, over the top, hats and crazy shapes, and everything's very, very strange. Obviously that's not real life. But, it's supposed to be that way. It's a statement, the designers are saying, here's where it's going and here's a really exaggerated look to make my point. So I'm excited to have Trisha here because she's one of those people who has a superpower of being able to kind of really distill and translate those things that you see that are very outrageous on the runway. How does that translate into something you would actually want to wear or invest your time and energy into knitting? So I'm looking forward to bringing her on in just a minute. Let me welcome everybody who's here. Hi, Sarah. It's nice to see you. Hey, Eveline. I'm glad you could join us. Gwen, always a pleasure. Hey, Terry. Thanks so much. So this is live and Trisha is waiting backstage. So if you have a question or a comment, please go ahead and put it in the chat. She can see that as well as I can, and I know she will be happy to answer your questions. So let me go ahead and bring her on. Hi, Amelia. All right. Hey, Trisha, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. I hear it's cold in New York, right?
It's cold in New York, yep.
But spring's not that far away, right?
We had a little taste of it a few days ago, actually. You must have too, right?
Just a little bit, yeah. I mean, it was nice, but I think it's going to snow on Friday.
It never rains some years.
I'm ready for it all to be over, winter and COVID. And I do kind of feel like I can see a light at the end, the vaccines and everything it's just, I think it's getting happier.
Yes.
Did you see any of that? And obviously you probably didn't travel, but saw runway shows and whatnot virtually. Did they do that virtually?
Yeah, they do that virtually, but they're not so much runway shows right now. They can't really hold them. Oh. So what they've been doing is like photo shows. So and some of them have been made to look like runway shows. And then for the autumn winter shows, there were some sort of distance runway shows. So it's sort of a little bit of a hybrid. But it's interesting. Changes that have taken place, and the fact that you just can't watch these videos of runway shows. And it's completely changed because I remember when I used to go to shows in the past, you'd stand outside and wait for hours and you'd get shuffled in and, the whole thing took hours, yet the runway show took less than 20 minutes, So this is actually a more efficient way to look at them, to do it all online.
It's not as much fun, is it?
No, it's so amazing to just be there, and see.
Go to Milan and where do you go?
See if any celebs show up, all that kind of thing. It's all fun.
Who's the most fabulous person you've ever met at a runway show?
Well, you don't actually meet them, but you do see them.
Oh.
So the last one I went to was actually a Coach show because Kay Fassett did a whole, they took his fabric designs and reinterpreted them for Coach. And so I was fortunate enough to go to that. And then, of course, Anna Wintour was there and, all that sort of fashion-y crowd. So that was exciting.
I always think of you as that sort of fashion-y crowd, Trish.
Oh, no. No. I'm talking like the way when I was at Vogue Knitting, we would talk about like real Vogue. Not.
We know what I mean. For us, I call it, you know what I call it? The knitterati. The first time I went to TNNA, I took a gal who had just started working for me, and I said, "It's going to be so fun. You get to see the knitterati." She said, "The who?" The famous people of the knitting world.
Yeah.
It was so exciting. I mean, I think it's still really fun. So, I mean, that's who you are. You're probably just really humble, but that's still part of who you are.
Well, yeah.
So what was, you did see the pictures, and I'm sure you do the same kind of process. What would you say is the most striking thing that you saw from?
For spring, summer,
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of all of fall winter shows at the moment.
I'm sure you are. Back up. Come back to me.
Back in spring, summer. What was really interesting that I saw was this whole thing about knitted pants and knitted shorts. There was a massive amount of crochet, which was very cool. A lot of sweater vests are a really big trend, vests to wear over shirts. So they were probably the three biggest that I saw.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And they were a little bit different. And then for autumn, winter, Women's Wear Daily actually today ran a cover story on all of the huge amount of knitwear that was in the fall and winter shows. So that's becoming a big trend. And we love that because whenever a runway trend for knitting happens, it seems to get in people's heads, and you always end up with a lot more people knitting.
Yeah, that's great.
I always love that. Yes.
I saw that too. They pointed out the Marnie line in there.
Oh, yeah,
huge.
Yes.
So very cool. I love that. I mean, I'm always kind of combing through and kind of seeing. So it's always fun. So you have a presentation for us, right? On spring, summer trends. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
I do.
So that's kind of queued up, right?
Yep.
So let me go ahead and there we go. Okay. You're on.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let me go through and see what we've got here. To start out with, I thought I would pull together some of the trends that are happening in society, because we've had a real change in our world, since the pandemic, or even though it's still a pandemic. So I just thought I'd bring these in because these also affect what we knit and how we think about knitting. So the first big trend is for home, and that's Japandi. And that's a combo of Japanese aesthetic and the Scandinavian aesthetic. And I find that interesting because have you noticed that a lot of people have been knitting blankets?
Absolutely.
Okay. And to me, that's part of that whole, it's left over from the higgy thing. The type of, the style of blanket I think we're going to be doing in the next, however, number of years is going to be influenced by this Japandi thing. Yeah.
Well, what is that, Japandi? I mean, how do you see a Japan?
It's Japanese and Scandinavian in the way they sort of intersect. So in home furnishings, you see it in things like wood and natural materials, very spare. And I think the blankets that we're going to be sort of doing it, they're not going to be fussy. There's going to be sort of beautiful color blocking in natural tones.
Right.
And I think, there's going to be some really interesting things that come out of that. I almost see like Erica Knight as a little bit of that aesthetic.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. The next one is mental fitness. We've all been working out, not myself as much as I should be. But we've been good as a society at taking care of our body, but now the next frontier is our mental fitness. And that's things like all of these apps that are being developed, to help us as we age and to help keep our brain fit. That's a really big, important thing. Climatarianism, is all about the move towards plant-based foods. The car is having a really important time for us right now because we're all stuck in our homes, or have been for a certain amount of time, with a lot of other people, or often with children. And so the car becomes an escape. So there's these things called car caves. And that's like people putting, blankets and pillows in their car. So it's the place they go to, And then,
that's crazy.
Yeah, right. And then like people going to therapy in their car because it's the only place they can do it with privacy. Yeah. And then this is what I'm particularly seeing. There's people moving away from the cities to suburbs and exurbia. Like for me in New York, rents are all going down because people are leaving. You know, they're moving away.
Yeah, they're moving to where we are.
And so outside of New York, the prices of real estate are like through the roof. But within the city, it's on the downward trend. 70 shag haircuts. So that tells you a little bit about the kind of fashion that we're seeing. This whole thing about embracing nature, you know, and that came from being locked inside, and people just, I think, embraced nature because they'd forgotten about it a little bit, or they realized how much they missed it. So that's becoming a really big thing for us too. So I just think these sort of relate a little bit to what's going on.
Absolutely.
So yeah, right. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
So let's look at color trends. So in December, Pantone announced their 2 colors of the year for this year, and they are Illuminating and Ultimate Gray. And they're all about optimism and hope. The yellow being the sort of more optimistic color. And then I love this analogy that they talk about here in the last sentence. When the gray clouds disperse, we see the sunshine. So I thought that was a really lovely way of putting that. So you'll start to see these around more and more as the year sort of develops. Then Pantone actually goes into the fashion shows in New York, and they do London as well, and they pull together the colors that are most used. So your screen's pretty good from what I'm seeing. So the blue is just a little brighter. It's that sort of intense blue on the far right. Yellow's the next color, very, very important. The rusty color is a little more orange than you might be seeing. Depends on everyone's personal monitor, I guess. We've got these next group of colors, the pale blue, the oranges, and the minty greens are these sort of sorbet colors. Then we move into a heavier mint, and there's definitely a mint trend. Then we've got a little bit of orchid and sorbet, so these sort of brighter, warm colors. So they were the colors most used. Now, they also pull together, I wanted to tell you this too. These colors are chosen because they combine a level of comfort and relaxation, and then sparks of energy, and those brights are the sparks of energy. Now then they pull together at Pantone these base colors. So these are like, you know, you might want to knit a brightly colored top, but these are the colors that you'll wear with it. You know, these are the pants and the skirts and, you know, your basics. So, you know, there's more of a shift towards the 2 colors on the right, the sort of brownie colors, and moving into these sort of sandy sort of look. And the gray still remains, and then that really dark blue-black color. So here's some other trend boards that I've pulled just to show you, you know, some of these colors that are becoming more and more important. And I think this is the most important color. And I actually read an article on a blog post this week, I can't remember where, it said if there's one color you want to wear to look like you have expensive clothing, this is the color.
What do you call that color? Is it butter?
I call it butter, yeah. I think that's a great name for it. Yep. It's just really light and fresh, and sort of, it's not that a bright illuminating yellow, but it's a really soft yellow. When I was talking before about embracing nature and the Scandi/Japanese aesthetic, it sort of moves into this sort of natural thing. These lovely tones of creams and whites and stone, and then on the left there's this sort of light khaki kind of color, sage, that is becoming really, really strong, and that's something I can show you a little more of later. And then here's some mood boards for mint. Again, really important color. And when these colors are important, they're not just for fashion, they're also homewares and lifestyle photos, you know, being used as well. Our sort of pastel shades of corals, pinks, and pale blues. And then there's this other trend that's sort of this like a California vibe, where it's all these sort of coastal colors. And I think it looks really kind of fun, this whole turquoisey thing. Right, let's look at some of the knit trends that we saw on the runway. I read this in another blog recently about loungewear. And because of the loungewear, this is why knits have become incredibly popular. And it all is about, you know, being stuck at home and throwing, or just not even wearing a pair of structured pants. You know, it's all just about being as comfortable as possible. And the one thing about knits, and this is what they said in Women's Wear Daily today, is that knits are the ultimate in comfort wear. And so this is why knitting and wearing knits is going to be just more and more important. So this was the trend I was telling you about before, the knit shorts. And then there's been knit pants, which I'll show you too. But interestingly, these knit sets I found rather fascinating. Really kind of interesting. You know, it's the the spring version of, you know, your long pants and your hoodie.
You know, I would not have said that knit shorts were a thing, but I have a customer who knit the most adorable pair of knit shorts with a little lace trim, and they looked fabulous. You know, they really did. I just think you have to get your head around the idea that, you know, they're not booty shorts. They're just shorts.
They're just comfy shorts, really.
Right.
Now, these I pulled, you know, from mainly Anthropology and other ready-to-wear things, because this is the look, you know, and it's not just the like the cardi and the sweater with the shorts, but the underneath top too. There's a lot of these sort of underwear looks that are around, and then that threesome in the center is your new sort of twin set in a way. Well, it's triple set, really.
I love that. That's really cute.
It's really cute, right? Here's some more versions, longer versions. And again, in the center, that's the new twin set, this sort of cropped little lingerie look, and then this big oversized relaxed cardi. Here's some pants that were on the runway for spring, summer. The ones in the middle are very much like the pants we had for Rowan in the last autumn, winter. But aren't they great? And then they made the cover of Women's Wear again. But this whole concept, you know, of this sort of relaxed knit dressing. Polo necks are the new neck. So you're going to start to see more of those in the next season and next. And do please excuse my noisy neighborhood. A lot of bold stripes. There's a lot of this, which is really fun. And again, I think that's the optimism that they were talking about before, about, you know, bright color and making us feel good. Sweater vests I talked about also. Now, these come in a lot of different versions. These are a great way. I would love these to replace the shawl, because everybody can wear a sweater vest, and people have been using shawls to show off their stitch techniques. And I would say just make it into do the same thing, but make it an oversized vest.
Yeah, there's not a fit issue, really. I mean, you know, any size would do.
Yeah, and just have some fun and put some techniques together, or pick some favorite stitches, you know. Here's some more versions. Again, nothing's very fitted. It's very comfortable. Slightly oversized here again. Here's another one. This one's short cropped, but, you know, reverse side of Fair Isle. Now here, I love these because I come from like, you know, a country that plays cricket and a lot of tennis. And so I think of these as cricket sweaters. So I thought these were really sort of fabulous, you know, these oversized, like sweater, like a sweater vest, and then, you know, taking it into like a full-on sweater as well. And here's that sporty look as a dress.
I love that.
Beautiful.
That's such a classic look for spring, you know, the white ribbed thing with the little, is that called a cricket sweater? With the blue?
Well, I think that, I don't know, actually know. But cricket sweaters tend to have that sort of look. Yeah, I guess you could. But I love that this is a dress too.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, look at the photography. See, normally that would walk down a runway, but now they're showing it to you, evoking a mood, right? Yeah. That's what they're putting across instead of like a runway show, which is just lovely. So I thought this was interesting to see this pop of red, and I thought how like lovely that looks in different versions. Again, we've got the pants and the sweater on the left, round yokes, then this sort of braided cables, and then some really nice ferrule, which I just thought looked, I don't know, just very fresh, very nice. Here's some more sort of, I always love this color combination, and to see so much of it was really cool. I love that little cardigan on the right, that's a very easy thing to do to something that you're knitting yourself, you know, just stripe it up like that. Yeah. So I hope that this is a color inspiration thing for you too. And also look at the one on the left, how that's half blue and then half green. Again, you could take any pattern that you've got and just play with color like that. Here's the yellow that I said I find like is a really important color.
It looks really happy. I mean, I hate yellow, but I love this look. I mean, it's really pretty.
I think it's really pretty. And every now and again, there's a time for yellow. And I actually have this belief, right, that there's a yellow for everyone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I did a presentation in a yarn store once, and everyone's like, that's not true. That's not true. So I made everyone in turn come up, and I found their perfect yellow. I put them in front of the mirror, and I tried 3 or 4 different yellows until I found their yellow. It's just a matter of getting the right one for your skin tone. I wanted to also point out in the center here, we've got this whole thing of combining knits with fabric, and that's a really big trend we're seeing, and that's part of the upcycling and recycling trend. We saw that last season. You see it here, and there's a lot more of it to come. There was a lot of white. So many shows had white.
More than an average spring, say?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, and again, I think it's because it's bright and fresh.
You know, you talk about that upcycling. I noticed early on one of the things you showed had like almost a patchwork, and it almost feels like there's this sense of, you know, making do, making something fabulous with what we have.
Exactly. Yes, and there's a lot of patchwork coming up in the next season, you know, as well. We saw some fun in Taja. I thought these two were particularly nice. I love this sort of little pearl here on the clamshell. And then at Coach, the embroidery on top of the intarsia. Some more sort of bright and happy sort of looks. And then there's florals, you know, harking back to a different time. I thought these were lovely in that they were sort of, you know, a little sort of more interesting. This one on the left is from Christian Dior, and they've taken an argyle and turned the C and the D of Christian Dior into part of the argyle, which I thought was rather clever.
Brilliant.
And then bright striping again, and that neckline, the open neckline is at the side of the raglan is also a thing. And then a little black and white color work there. A little more sort of intense color work, but I love this piece in the middle here with the beads on top. This reminds me of the 80s and those Coogee sweaters.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
Those short rows.
Yes, exactly. A little bit more intarsia. The one on the right from Coach, which was kind of fun too. This was my favorite, this whole idea of cross stitch, and to see it happen more than once in a season is amazing. But this piece on the left was from Tory Burch, and I just thought it was a really cool piece, really interesting. So there's bits of intarsia, and then there's some little duplicate stitch, and then some cross stitch. And then on the right from Christian Dior, like a much finer cross stitch on a finer knit.
You're getting a lot of fluidity too. You know, things can be menswear, women's wear. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be quite the same divide. You know, people are wearing whatever, and I love that.
I do too. And again, that's another trend going forward we're going to see a lot more of. A little more embroidery here, a little fringing too. Fringing still strong and important. Some really easy shapes, which I love to see because that, I think, helps people to want to start knitting. They look at that and think, I really like that. Maybe I could make that myself. And it gets people into sweater knitting, which a lot of people are afraid of, and we want to get them past that fear. And so I think really simple sweaters like this can do that.
That one on the left, it looks like, you know, with the marl, like they held two yarns together.
Yeah.
That's such a fun thing to do on a big needle. Like you say, you know, anybody can do it, and it's nothing really more than a big rectangle.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's all these sort of slopey drop shoulders. So it's all comfort. It doesn't have to fit, which is just lovely. It's a little bit of 80s. I love this little poncho in the center here, and, you know, all things we've seen before. That yellow coming through again. I saw counterpanes, which was interesting. Again, to see it twice in one season. And here we have on the left knit counterpanes, and then on the right we've got crocheted. And then actually yesterday I was looking at a show from fall winter, and they used a counterpane, knit counterpane blanket as a backdrop for their entire show to put their model against, which is really lovely. Some Aran knits were definitely happening. They always are. But these are all particularly nice, bright and fun.
With the polo neck too, like you said, in the center. Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't seen that in knitwear for a long time.
No, nope. And it's a good technique too, you know.
Yeah.
For people to learn. This piece has been showing up in a lot of promotional things. Again, it's this lovely yellow, this cute sort of dress, and then, you know, some really overblown honeycomb patterning there. It just looks really, you know, interesting when it's on that scale. A little more sort of Aran inspired, interesting cropped piece on the left. Then we have a cute short cardigan, and then a little hippieifying on the right there.
Do you think ombre is a thing? Is that, I mean, is that the only piece of ombre? Or?
Yeah, it was the only piece of ombre. I thought it looked nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But they've also, interestingly, tried to make it look faded and worn, and they've tattered the bottom and, you know. But, I forget why I put these two in. Oh, the one on the right, because fisherman's ribs and brioche is everywhere. And this whole idea of these slouchy sweaters tucked in and with these puffy sleeves at the cuffs is really happening. And then I actually meant to move this because I didn't realize it was crochet. But it's a really nice piece. I think a really simple top. And I love the idea of combining the knit or the crochet piece with the fabric.
Is that the one on the left with it kind of a little crop top with olive and the...
Yeah, and then it's got a fabric back.
Oh.
And a knit band around the bottom of the base. It's kind of a little bit like that lingerie look that we're seeing, but I just think it's a really cool piece.
Definitely.
Structure, yeah. Mesh was everywhere, and it always is. But lots of different things. Like I love the basically a swimsuit cover-up, underwear cover-up in the center there, you know, with this huge mesh, which is actually quite easy to knit, that sort of mesh. And then we've got the other two that are, you know, more traditional. Oh, sorry about that. Lingerie looks were definitely a thing. I love this. I remember years ago we did this in Vogue Knitting, God, 20 years ago. The whole thing about knitting this oversized sort of stitches to create this very, very transparent knit, and then going and embroidering on top of it. I think is really kind of fun.
That is pretty.
Yep. Mohair is definitely, there was a lot of mohair last season, and it's interesting to see mohair here, the spring, summer, and there's definitely a lot of that coming up, that sort of brushed look. Now, these hats I totally loved. How cool are they? So these were at Tom Brown, and what they did was they've taken like structured hats that they bought and then covered them with knit fabric. And it looks really fresh and modern and exciting and doable, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love
socks. Socks. Oh, we don't see socks on the runway, do we?
No, but this season, definitely. These were both from Coach, and there was a lot of them, and I have seen more of them, but the whole idea was this slouchy sock. Now, it was interesting. I didn't show it here because I thought it'd be not a nice thing to do, but some of them looked like they were just tubes that had been knit and sewn up. But I'm sure once they go into production, you know, they're trying to get a look here, you know. But last season we saw a lot of dressy shoes with socks, and then now it's sort of these slip-ons with socks, and it's continuing. You're going to see more of it. And then this whole idea of, you know, slippers all day, every day, you know.
That's my kind of footwear.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Knit bags, which were great. I love these big blue ones.
So what are they using for that? Is that cotton or jute or?
On the left, it's definitely jute. Mm-hmm. But the two on the right look like cotton. But if I was making them, and I hate to do this, I'd knit cotton on a very, very tight gauge, so you've got a lot of structure. And then I'd see everything I could do to shrink it, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like crochet is a better vehicle for bags and things that you don't want to have stretch out.
I agree. Definitely agree. Another bag here. This one's crochet. Much more structured. And this I put in to show fringing was important. So let's go and look at crochet. This was really cool. Filet crochet, right? Now, the one in the center looks like it's machine-made lace, but it's that look of filet crochet. Mm-hmm. The piece on the right looks like it's an upcycled piece. So that's a piece of you know, like an old doily or something that someone's actually sewn onto like a fabric piece.
Again, with the upcycle.
Exactly. And then on the left, the ultimate in upcycling, this looks like it's probably 2 placemats, right?
Yeah.
Sort of, you know, crochet chains to sort of weave them together, and then doilies that are just put together with a, you know, a crochet mesh to fill in the spaces and made into a skirt.
That's fun.
Cool, right?
It is. That's very fun.
Yep. And then it's hard to see, but there's actually some cross stitch in here.
Yeah. You know, a lot of that stuff, it's been around and it's worn and it's, you know, ripped or whatever, but you make that mending part of the beauty of it, you know?
Exactly. That's exactly right. More mesh crochet. And then the whole crochet, you know, it's the same thing we were seeing before, the short sets, and it's not just for women, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then we've got in here the polo neck for the guy. And then over here on the right, appliquing or embroidery, I can't really quite see what it is, on top of the crocheted mesh. And that's a basic granny square mesh, you know. Mm-hmm. Lingerie crochet, because the lingerie looks are definitely important. The vests also showing in crochet. And that looks kind of fresh, doesn't it, with all that white in it?
Yeah, I had a vest like that in the 70s.
Yep. A very cute little crochet dress there on the left. Crocheted swimsuits, crochet cover-ups, and then more mesh. And crochet dresses, much more than knit dresses. There were some knit dresses, but these were like really cool. Some crochet for the guys. Interesting to see so much male crochet, which you never really see.
Right. And
then I thought these were lovely. I love
these are beautiful.
Yeah. So this is broomstick or like hairpin lace to create these motifs. And then they're sewn together and then attached to a fabric. Mm-hmm. I thought that was gorgeous. And then these sort of big shapes that are crocheted and then with the beads. And then I love this because look at this. This is a knit edging. So it's like you've knit, there's a sleeve on here. So it's like knitting a sleeve, knitting its shoulder tab, knitting your bands, and then leaving the rest open and then filling it with crochet.
It's brilliant, really.
It is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. And I think the color palette matters, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep, definitely. And then some crochet accessories. So on the left here, these hats were at Fendi. They've even crocheted their name in. I love this idea of this sort of crocheted neck piece, which reminds me of that sort of farm trend that's happening now. That's a bit Little House on the Prairie, modernized.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
And then on the right, I love that I think this was at Anna Sui, but I love that they created this, what remember the beer can hats?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to call it a bucket hat or, you know, Gilligan's Island kind of hat.
Exactly. But they've at least found a can design that's tasteful rather than, you know, bud all around the hat.
Do we need those straws that come down?
Exactly. And then crocheted bags.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so someone's done a lot of curly Q crochet in the center there, but again, really big bags. And then there's that sort of jute or what is it called, raffia on the right. And there was a lot of macrame.
I love macrame.
It's so cool. Look at all these pieces are lovely. I love that belt. Mm-hmm. Just sort of, you know, wrapping it through, and then it's got all the tassels, and then macrame shoes.
And the earrings. Look at that.
I know, aren't they great?
They are. Yeah. I love that. I mean, I know this is not part of it, but that belt up here at the top, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool, right? I love that.
So those are macrame slippers?
Yeah.
Very fun. We need to get Erica Knight on that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, This isn't really knitting, but this is a really big trend, and I saw it a lot coming up for autumn, winter as well. And it's all about patchwork. Look at this.
Mm.
So it's taking quilts and recycling them. Now, I know a lot of quilt people will tell you don't ever do that, but this was from the New York Times. They did a whole article on this in the style section. And then here's some runway pieces.
Wow. In
the center there, that's combined with part knitwear. Like it's knit sleeves and a knit band, and then a patchwork sort of front. And then we have
in the middle. Is that Ralph Lauren?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And then we have an Annie Hall look on the far right.
Very, very.
And here's more of it. There was so much. And there's so much more like next season as well. And then I put this in because I wanted to show you that patchwork is happening in knitting as well. You know, there was a lot of it last fall, winter, and there's a lot more of it that we're going to see next year as well. So it's fun. Yeah, I know, right? So it's like mixing things up, and it's, you know, I think it's an interesting way of approaching knitwear and having a little bit of fun, and, you know, dividing your sweater up and then doing different things with it, you know. And I hope it encourages people to be a little more creative with their knitting then, you know.
Yeah, don't you think that crochet kind of lends itself to that? You know, you can go in any direction with crochet. It's you have to plan a little more with knitting and gauge and all that. But with crochet, you can just go off-road.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. So that's all I have of this. But if you'd like me to,
we would love, you mentioned that you have the Rowan. So many of the things that we saw in the Rowan mode, for those of you who were at the shop on Sunday night for kind of the pre-launch, you saw a lot of those designs. So I think it would be really fun if you have them to kind of go into what Rowan has and sort of see how it was reflected, how it's, you know, reflective of those trends that we saw. What do you guys think? Do you like the trends? Are any of them speaking to you? Again, remember, these are runway looks. They're not actually the looks that you're going to see in the store, but, you know, suggestions and kind of an over-the-top sort of thing. But I'd be interested in your comments. So go ahead and post your comments. Let us know what you think. And if you want to do the mode or the Rowan, I think it fits beautifully if you have time. I don't know.
Yeah, I have time. There's nowhere to go.
Well, there's that. So, you know, I was looking at some of those vests, especially the oversized vest, and it reminded me of the Kim Hargreaves vest from the winter collection. She had that one in Merino Aria. It looks just like that.
Yes, she did, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Okay. Can you see that?
I will in a minute. And there we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Good, good.
Okay. So this is Spring Summer from Rowan. Firstly, we did a Learn to Knit book. It's exciting for me because I got to work on it. So that was fun. The first thing I'm going to show you is, came out a few months ago, is Modern Men's Knit. So someone put this together for a presentation that's unrelated to this. So it's sort of looking back over what was there. So these are Jen Geegley designs, and I think these look really cool. And we've got a lot of men's stuff coming up. So, you know, which is great because there's so many men knitting now too. But these sweaters are all, you know, pretty easy and wearable. Everything here looks very, very wearable to me. Plus there's a couple of scarves and hats in there as well. It's a really nice collection. And then Jen Geegley also did Modern Women's Knits. And here her idea was to take some, you know, bits of bright color and, you know, put them with sort of more neutrals. Now, interestingly, up here on the right, look, she's got the color of the year, the gray and the yellow.
Yep.
Yeah, she managed to get that, like psychically get that right. But there's some really cool pieces here. And I love that she's doing a lot of color blocking as well. And it's all, you know, really fun. And her things are great too because she tends to use heavier weight yarns and they're quick to knit. She's a particularly good designer. Kim Hargreaves came out with Hope. I love this blue wrap. I love
Yeah,
that
that's
color.
lovely.
And this is one of the trend colors that we saw earlier in the Pantone presentation. So here's some more designs from Hope. And then she also came out with winter. And here we go. It's the interior winter there. And then Chloe Thurlow, who's one of our staff members, came out with her first collection this season. She saw the brand new shades we have of Pure Wool Superwash Worsted, and she went and designed a collection and presented it, and everyone fell in love with it, so we had to do it. So
and this is for autumn winter? Oh no, this is now. Yeah, I see it.
Now,
We have that.
yeah.
We have that in the shop.
These pillows are really great, and that blanket is gorgeous. So she took all of the new colors and played with them to make them into this amazing blanket, you know.
She's really very clever.
She's a very clever girl, really interesting. And then the piece on the right, she does a lot of collage work, and she actually drew the sweater out and then collaged on it and then designed from her collage.
Too fun.
It's so cool.
We have some great comments on your presentation. People are liking the yellow and mixing and matching and crochet, soft colors. You don't need a pattern for a granny square, do you?
You don't, but yes, some people do, you know.
You could knit, you could crochet a big granny square and then maybe knit around it for a sweater, or put it in the middle, like you said, and fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you guys like that. Thank you for commenting.
So here we have a few more pillows. I wanted to show you particularly the flower pillow. How cool is that?
Oh, that's so fun. Is that seamed or is that?
Yes, it is seamed. She worked out how to knit these petals. But I can imagine like a whole row of them along a sofa.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, it'd be so fun.
And like flower colors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they look really summer. I mean, it'd be great on an outdoor, sofa too. They're just so fun. And what do we got next? Oh, and here's some more. Now, Chloe moved into an apartment at the beginning of lockdown. She just moved in and lockdown started. So she had to furnish her apartment, and then she did all of this creative work while she was in the apartment, and then she did the photography in her apartment.
Oh, my gosh.
So this is the most personal collection anyone could possibly have done.
I love it. She's got all her plants back there.
Yeah, I know, right? She did do some basic sweaters. These are all unisex pieces. And, she just wanted comfortable sweaters, exactly what she wanted to wear while she was at home. So Martin Story's just come out with a new Mordale collection and 6 new colors in Mordale. So we can quickly have a look at that. Okay, so this really fun, deep V-neck. And this is almost like a sweater vest with sleeves, in that it's a great piece to wear over the top of a shirt like that. This cardigan, I love this shape. I actually bought a cardigan in this shape last year. It's my favorite piece of clothing at the moment. It's really comfy and really fun to wear.
It's got a beautiful drape.
Yes, that yarn is gorgeous. And then a little seed stitch. Again, it's that drapey sweater. We've got the sort of puffy cuff sleeves. This big poncho. Martin's a big poncho lover.
Yeah, we were looking at this one. This is a beautiful design.
It's really lovely, and it'd be really fun to knit too. And then the birdhouse sweater, which is adorable. And obviously you can do it, a cardigan, sorry. But you can obviously do it without. But people have really loved this.
That reminds me of the one that's in the Rowan magazine, which has the little bit of intarsia or
on the bottom.
at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Yep. Okay, this is a double moss stitch with color work, which I think is really cool. And it looks really nice. I think that is lovely.
It's very subtle, very pretty.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have chosen those colors, but I would.
For spring, maybe not, but in Britain, everything's different.
Everything's different. Yep. Then we have a little patchwork because plaids have been really, really important in fashion for probably the last 2 seasons, And then this is great, this big shawl. It's just simple garter stripes. Just fun if you want something sort of mindless to knit in front of Netflix. Something a little more complex, this sort of beautiful blue color, and this lovely oversized Aran.
That's stunning.
It's gorgeous. He's so good at that. And then this one reminds me more of a traditional Gansey, but looks very relaxed, you know.
Yeah. I love the silhouette on that one.
Yes. I'm actually intrigued by this stitch. It's like seed stitch color work.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't got the book yet, so I haven't looked at the pattern to see how he's done it, but I can see a lot of really cool ways to use that.
I wonder if it's like a mosaic.
I'm wondering that too. I don't know. Really not sure, but I love it. It's really nice. And then we've got a little plaid hat on the right there. And they're the new shades.
Nice.
Of Mordell. Okay, so let's look at spring, summer. The bloom in the center there is not coming till May, but that's a really exciting thing for Rowan. This is an overview of the main magazine. So the first story, there's 2 stories in magazine 69, and the first one's called Nostalgia, and it's got a very 50s vibe. And I don't know where they found this place to shoot it, especially, you know, when they were just sort of opening up after lockdown. They were managed to get it shot, you know, in between the 2 lockdowns. And
it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, this place is stunning. So definitely a lot of 50s silhouettes here. Sorry, I'm just going to wish through.
One of my customers yesterday just bought the yarn for that sweater with it's the plaid one.
Yeah.
So pretty. That's such everything in this collection, the whole magazine is a home run.
It's beautiful. It's so pretty. These are some more sort of basic pieces. Yeah, really lovely. And we just put this video up on the Rowan site, and it has this girl on the right here, like swinging around in the garden. It looks so gorgeous. And the flowers, look, these beautiful roses, and there's some hydrangeas coming up that was stunning. So we have some men's and women's looks here. So on the left, these sort of statement sleeves are still a thing. More men, you know, it's a great piece. And then there's embroidery on the sleeves of this cardi, which is just, you know, very pretty.
Just like you showed in the trend report.
Yeah, yeah. And here's some of our bright stripes that we saw also. And then this is a cave piece, which I think is, you know, very pretty and very, also very 50s in the color choices.
Mm-hmm.
Little striping there on the left. And I loved in the center this little bolero that's got little bows on it knit into it, which I think is just really pretty. And then this floral design, I think that's from Ani and Carlos on the far right.
Mm-hmm.
And then our cover, this cardigan is just gorgeous.
That's in the fine lace and kid silk haze, I think.
And that makes a beautiful fabric.
So light.
Yes. Yes. And that pattern is lovely. And if you're not a pink person, I mean, you could color that any way you wanted to. It'd be,
sure.
There's so much you can do with that. More nostalgic pieces. That's a cape on the left. The big dots. Then the piece in the middle, you know, that's very evocative, I think, of the 50s. And so it's the one on the right with that roll neck.
Yeah, that's the one that she bought the yarn for last night.
Lovely. It's going to be beautiful. What color did she choose?
So she chose that dark plum, but the pink was a little more of the deep rose than this. This one actually in person, you know, is a little more orange.
Yes.
So she chose the pink, you know, a kind of a rosy pink. I can't remember the name of the colorway, but yeah, it's a beautiful combination.
Nice. Yeah, that's going to be lovely. Again, the roll neck, and then a more simple sort of T-shirt over there on the right. And then here's the one you were talking about in the center.
Yes.
That little bit of intarsia. And then some beautiful, you know, cabling, but with this sort of drop stitch in between. And then we've got lace, little cute cardi on the far right.
So cute.
Yeah. There's a little polar neck there.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about earlier.
It's very ladylike, isn't it?
blue, yes. And then this lovely blue cardigan in the center. Another piece on the left there, which is, also look at those hydrangeas firstly, but that sweater is very much like the cover sweater with those lovely geometrics.
It's not the same sweater. Isn't that funny? I went right past that in the magazine. I thought it was the same sweater, but it's not, is it?
No.
Oh, I like that.
It's very cute. I love it's a little short sleeve sweater, like a real sweater girl sweater.
Right.
Then in the center, we have these lovely cables. And then on the far right, this is the one that's trending on Ravelry for this issue. It's got the most likes so far.
That's cute. That's an Arnie and Carlos, I think, also.
I think so, yeah. On the left, this lovely turtleneck, but look on the far right. Well, it's the same piece all around. Buttons down the back.
Cute. That's a very 50s thing.
Very, yeah. Yep. So I think it's just a very sweet piece, that one. Then our second story is called Cotton Classics. And here we have this lovely striped shawl with a nice, cute edging there.
I love almost all the designs in this because I love the soft yak decay so much, and the model is just perfect for everything.
I know, right? And these are all designed by Martin, and he just has a great way about designing clothing that people want to wear,
Absolutely.
Now, this cardigan on the left is also trending very heavily on Ravelry. So it's got these mistake rib sleeves, and then the rest of it is just this lovely slouchy, it's almost like a canvas for beautiful cables. And on the right, sort of a little more structured cardigan that also has really pretty stitch work. A sort of patchworky look on the left, and then another great cardigan in the center there. It's like a chevron stitch, and then on the right, another sort of more fitted cardigan, which Martin, he does those very well as well. On the left, the sweater vest, which is lovely. And then in the center, I would love to actually find the time to knit this. I just love a slouchy top like that I can throw on with some sort of slim pants, and it just feels so comfortable. And I also really love this simple cardigan with those really deep ribs at the bottom.
That's beautiful. These are all the kinds of things that, you're sitting around and you have to go someplace. You just grab it and you put on over whatever you're wearing, and all of a sudden you're pulled together.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yep. Poncho, because like we said, Martin loves the poncho on the left. And I love that because he's pulling that plaid concept in and knitting a textural plaid. And then this lovely sweater in the center here with like a really face framing neck and these beautiful cables. And again, our simple striped shawl. And then this I want to own. Absolutely.
But I noticed you say you want to own it, but not knit it.
No, I don't want to knit it.
Miles and miles of stuff in it.
Exactly. But how lovely is that?
It's beautiful.
I know. I would die to own that. I think it's gorgeous. So anyway, if you have the time and the inclination, it's a wonderful piece to own. We have a special book out called Ease, and this is designed by Lisa Richardson, who's the Rowan head designer. So let me get through this stuff, and I can show.
We've actually pulled that cover shawl for a knit along later in the season.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Here's another one of these cardis I love with this drapiness. And I think I actually really love the way Lisa's put this lace edging around it. And you see how short the sleeves are. Like if you look in the center here.
Yeah. It's almost like, what do you call that? A dolman.
Yeah, it is almost like a dolman. You're right. It's really, it's a lovely piece. Next we have, and these are all named for vegetables in her garden.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
I love that she has a garden.
I know. She's a big gardener. She lives out in the country. So here we have ginger. And then the next one is taro. Now, this is really lovely. This is like the mesh that we were seeing before, but she's taken the mesh and used two different yarns and then taken the same stitch pattern and used it in two different colorways, one as a sweater and then one as a cardi. And I always love when we get someone who does that because you really get a feel for a different color and a whole different look. Now, this is a really interesting piece. So this looks like it's a cardigan over a top, but it's actually all one piece. So the sort of fronts of the cardigan is sort of knit from the, attached somehow to the shoulders. I actually haven't seen it, so I can't tell you a lot about it. But the puffy sleeve too is there.
Right.
But it's a very, very pretty piece. A very simple, cute little top here in the center. Now, I do remember having those ruched shoulders in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And I just think that it's a really cute look. And then just that little sort of subtle opening. The cowl here is a really pretty stitch. And it's obviously, big and long and can be wrapped around twice. And then this really pretty lace top. So it's in one yarn for the front and the back, and then the sides are in Kid Silk Haze.
I love that.
It's so pretty, isn't it?
Yes.
I really like it. And then on the right, a really nicely shaped poncho. Like Martin's ponchos tend to be sort of big and full of fabric, and I just thought this was a really interesting variation on a poncho.
It's actually shaped.
It's actually shaped, yeah. I think it's really nice.
It is pretty.
Yeah, it's a very pretty collection. Now we have Radish in two versions again. So this is sideways knit, and then the lace is knit as you go along, and then the lace forms the lower edge.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty. And then you can choose either a V-neck or a round neck.
That is a nice movement away from a shawl because it's constructed in almost the same way.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And also, if you don't like not wearing sleeves, you could totally make that and then design your own sleeve on that,
Sure.
or just wear it under something. I mean, it's just such a really
or over a little tee or something.
Exactly. Now, in the center, we have our knit bag. This one's lacy, but it's a great shape. I love the sort of older, over-the-shoulder slouchy piece. And then this wonderful big wrap it has like a casing, so you can actually push one piece through.
Oh, isn't that fun? Yes, it doesn't fall off. And it's like a blanket, though. It's so big.
It is so big, yeah. It's a lot of knitting, but again, it's a piece that you would own and wear for the rest of your life,
Absolutely.
And next we have a slouchy tee here in the center with these lace panels.
I love that one.
It's really pretty. Yeah, very gorgeous. And then mesh again. And if you look at the way this is constructed, it has a tab on this side. And then here there's an opening for the tab. And then if you look over here, you can see how that tab fits through, and that's the fastening.
Oh, I see. Almost like a little wrap.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah. She's a really interesting designer, Lisa, and she does some really, interesting construction.
She seems very thoughtful in her designs. Like she's really considered how things are going to fall on.
Exactly. And this is the shawl you're doing as a knit-along. Yeah, this is a great piece. Again, this is worth the time and investment, because you'll wear this your entire life.
That's knit in the creative linen. So it's just going to be comfortable forever, and it's going to wash and wear like $1,000,000.
Absolutely. That's a great yarn.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yeah, totally. And what else would be really nice too is if you held Kid Silk Haze with that.
Kid Silk Haze. I mean, Kid Silk Haze is like whipped cream or butter or béarnaise sauce. It's just great on whatever you want.
Exactly.
It makes everything better. Just put some Kid Silk Haze in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it would also be beautiful in a different yarn. I mean, this is the spring summer version, but you could easily do that in fine lace and Kid Silk Haze.
Sure.
Yeah. Or anything, really. It's gorgeous. Such a versatile piece. A very cute little seed stitch cardi in two versions. Well, it's two different ones, actually. So this is a moss stitch over here on the left, and then this is seed stitch. And then again, look at this really interesting, she's used a pin to pull that together. It's a really interesting shape, and, it's just some nice stuff. Okay, so this I really love too. This is called Union, and this is a Martin Story collection, and it's all menswear.
Most of this is in the Island Blend Fine, isn't it? Or a lot of it? Such a pretty yarn.
Yes, and then he's a big fan of soft yak DK, so I'm guessing there's a lot of that in here too. Let me see.
I am also a fan of Soft Jack DK.
Yes. Island Blend Fine and then Denim Revive
Nice.
are the 3 yarns. And Denim Revive it's a great yarn. It really is. It's a great summer yarn, and it's kind of has the nice feel for guys too, you know.
And a lot of people who like tweed, but they don't like wool,
Yes,
are
exactly.
really a fan of that.
Yep, definitely. So these are great sweaters. They're typical Martin. He makes the best cables around, and they're just really nice looking sweaters. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I really love them. And these 2 models showed up, and they actually had known each other for years.
Is that right?
But no one knew that when they booked them. So they had a fun day catching up. Okay, so a fisherman's rib cardi, again, a really practical thing to wear. And then this wonderful wrap in, scarf in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to think what I want to call that, but I can't think of it. It's like that. I'll never think of it. It's too late in my day. All right, lovely sweater vest. Again, they're really, really important. And that one's really, I like the texture there of the 2 color. Then a very simple sweater that's tipped with a contrasting color. And again, Martin was psychic, and he got the color of the year from Pantone.
I was going to say, with the yellow, it's perfect.
It is perfect. And then I can't believe that this sweater on the right isn't the one that's really trending, because I think it's so cute. This bulldog sweater, really adorable. And then we have some more. This is the one on the left that is the most popular from this collection on Ravelry. So it's like a sea-inspired ferrule.
Ferrule is still having its moment.
It really is, yep. And then I love this piece in the center. So we have cables, and then you have this zigzag seed stitch pattern. And I don't think that should be allowed to be just for men.
It isn't. No. Yeah. This is the kind of thing you knit for your guy and then you steal it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And then a wonderful sort of relaxed hoodie there on the right. That's sort of male answer to the slouchy cardi for working from home. And then I love this ferrule too, the shawl. Reminds me, it's a little bit Scandinavian in my eyes, but it's a fish pattern.
Is that the name of it? Shawl?
Shawl.
Shawl. That's beautiful. And the colors are wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. And then we've got that same sweater again. And then on the left, another sort of more simple, basic man sweater.
Right.
You know, with an
that, again, that's very hearkening back to, the days of classic menswear. And
yes. Yep.
I love this scarf. This scarf is to die for.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really lovely. Again, you could knit it for him and take it for yourself.
Quite a good idea.
Here's on the left, the same fish motif that was on that men's sweater. Here's just one band of it in the hat, and then there's a matching cowl. And then on the right, a mosaic stitch hat and cowl. Then we have some 4 projects booklets. These are in, we have 2 of them, one in Creative Linen, one in Island Blend Fine.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the Creative Linen, this cute little sleeveless top that you just saw on the cover. And then I love this diagonal scarf, like it's a shawl/scarf, a striped sweater, and then a textured mesh sweater.
Mary is knitting that scarf right now. Mary on our team.
Oh, nice. In the same colors?
No, she actually picked an alternate colorway that uses the raspberry color of linen, which is just lovely.
Yeah, that's another one of those great investment pieces. So there's just other shots to show you. And then we have 4 projects in Island Blend Fine. So a simple sweater on the left there that has these really lovely garter stitch sort of sleeve ends that sort of bell out. Mm-hmm. And then a striped cardi, a more simple sweater, and then a mesh pullover or topper, I guess, tabard. Also, all really functional and wearable. Oh, and then we have our Essential Summer Brights. which plays to that trend that we saw earlier. So this lovely little Trinity stitch cardi, a really nice bright orange shawl there on the right. Nice, beautiful bright stripes, and then a solid version of the same sweater. And white we saw was really important. So this really cute little top, you know, this little cropped top with the openings at the sides, and then a really lovely simple sweater vest on the left there.
It looks so fresh with the white.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In the center, we have another sweater vest. I just love the simple eyelets, you know, just give that some interest. And then everyone's really loving this ombre cardigan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It's just lovely.
It's like sherbet.
Yeah. And then here's that lovely vest again in another color. And then in the bright yellow, we've got this a mesh, like easy, relaxed sweater. And then a little cable pullover and another little top with this, you know, simple little lace edging in that lovely bright aqua. This is a knit along that's coming.
Yes, we're very excited about this one.
I think it's lovely. I particularly like these hearts with the, you know, the intricate sort of. So that's coming at some point soon.
Yeah, we'll be doing that for sure as a knit along.
Oh, good. And I do not need to show everyone the range overview because they're not yarn stores. And if you have time, I know we've gone over time, but I can quickly show you the mode at Rowan if you would like as well.
So the mode is really fun. If you want to just show real quickly the 4 projects for mode, that would be awesome, because that's the moss cardigan is the one that we're starting a knit along on in April.
Okay, that's excellent. Let me share my screen again.
Yes, we are so excited about that one. So I've been pulling, it's knitted in the cotton cashmere with a strand of kid silk case. And, you know, I'm a pink girl, so I pulled the pearly pink and the grace color of the kid silk case. But it's so pretty in all the, there it is.
Up.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, just one second, because I think it's, oh, I thought they showed it in more depth. Let me just start from here.
Yeah, I mean, so I have the mode all put up by itself in the shop, and it, you know, the green palette is just so pretty and fresh. It really is.
Sorry.
It's okay. You rocking out later?
No, that's the video, unless you want to see it.
Oh, okay, I see. Video might be kind of fun.
Okay, we can go back and I can show you the video. Usually I try not to show it because over Zoom it doesn't do well, but you've got a different
Yeah.
Okay, let me see where it is. There we go. There you go.
Can everybody hear that? Make sure that, I think everybody can hear that. Give me the thumbs up in the comments if you can hear it. You have to share your screen. Trisha?
Yeah.
Can you share the screen?
I'm sorry. I thought I did. All right, then I'll go back and start again. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. So that's very fun.
Oops. So this is the cardigan. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, I love that.
I love that cardigan too. It's a really, really nice piece.
Yeah, I think it's just everything you want right now.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Yep. Okay.
So super exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've taken so much of your time, and I feel just horrible about.
Oh, no. Seriously, I don't mind at all. Like I said, there's to go.
It's been so nice to see you and so nice to have you here. And thank you for all, for your time and all your insight. I love seeing all of the things in the runway and then seeing how they're interpreted in Rowan. I'm so excited about it. And I think everything this season is beautiful. I think there's a lot of pent up desire to knit beautiful things and be back at it,
I agree. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So did anybody have any quick questions for Trisha before we sign off? So I would love it if you would, you can comment on the chat later on, even after we're gone. If you have a favorite, let me know. If you want to do the knit along with us, I would love to have you. What we do is we meet once a week via Zoom to do the knit along, and that was so much fun. So we did the V-neck sweater. We're going to do that moss sweater coming up in April. So very, very fun. I hope that you will join me. Maybe I'll invite Trisha to come and hang out with us one afternoon if you have no place else to go.
I'd be more than happy to do that. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, Trisha. And thank you all for joining me. Until I see you again, happy knitting.